Okay, I'm gonna get started. Okay, Kelly?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, David.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the 2024 Annual General Meeting of the Stratford Perth Museum Association, actually. Um, um, as is our tradition, the chair of the board normally turns things over to the general manager, and this frees the chair of the board up to wreak havoc in any number of ways during the course of the meeting. So it's my pleasure to introduce our host, if you will, and chair of the meeting this evening, Kelly McIntosh, who is our new general manager. So over to you, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks, David. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending the Stratford Perth Museum Association's 2024 AGM. So this AGM provides the museum with an opportunity to share information with the membership and the public, and we are grateful for all of those with an interest in the museum and who are attending. A reminder that our Constitution says you need to be a member in good standing to make a motion, to second a motion, and to vote. You do not have to be a member to raise questions or comment on issues that arise. There will be an opportunity to do so. So now, I just want to take a moment to read a letter from John Nader, our MP of Perth Wellington. Stratford Perth Museum, good evening. As a member of Parliament for Perth Wellington, I am pleased to have the opportunity to extend my greetings and best wishes for your meeting this evening. I apologize that I am not able to be with you in person due to a scheduling conflict. I would like to welcome your new general manager, Kelly McIntosh, who I know is excited to take on her new role with the museum. Her knowledge of theater, arts, and heritage administration will be a tremendous asset to the board and our community. It's kind of him to say. I would also like to acknowledge the leadership and dedication of former general manager, John Kastner, as he begins his new chapter in his life. I've enjoyed working with John over the years, and I thank him for his service to the museum. We are truly fortunate to have an engaging and active museum here in Perth County, a museum providing programs, workshops, and activities that appeal to families and the young and old alike. I'm enormously proud to support the museum at the federal level whenever I have the opportunity. I would like to thank everyone here this evening, members of the board, staff, and all the volunteers for dedicating your time and sharing your passion for preserving and celebrating our history now and for generations to come. As you review 2023 and look ahead to 2024, I want to congratulate you on your many successes and wish you all the best for the future. Sincerely, John Nader, MP, Perth Wellington.
Very good.
Thank you, John Nader. And now, at this point, I would like to ask the membership for approval of the 2023 minutes, which were distributed to the board and to everyone who requested a link. Be it resolved that the minutes of the 2023 Stratford Perth Museum Annual General Meeting be accepted by the membership. Can I get a motion to approve? I see Deanna Horton, moved by Deanna Horton, and a seconder. Brent Shackleton, I see your hand up. Any discussions or questions? Carried. At this point, we'll go to...
You've got to call for a vote.
Oh.
Yeah. A call for a vote.
Okay. Call for a vote.
All in favor?
All in favor. Thank you, David. Sorry, my first time doing this.
Carried.
Okay, carried.
Carried. Yes, carried. Kelly.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. At this point, we go to the president and board chair report, which was pre-recorded. So you see David Stones here before you. You are also going to see him in his video, which Mac is going to play for us now. So cueing you, Mac, take it away.
Oh, hi there, and good evening to you all. My name is David Stones. I'm the chair of the board and president of the Museum Association. And you know, it's very easy to present good news. just ask our good pal, Peter Mansbridge. He'll tell you, it's a great joy to talk about good things. And in this regard, it's once again my great pleasure to present my chair's report to our loyal membership. 2023 was another remarkable year for your Stratford Perth Museum. I'm going to leave it up to our two managers, Kelly McIntosh and John Kastner, who both served as general managers in 2023, to report on those operational details. You know, it's often said that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Not true.
Frankly, I've always questioned that. Seems to me if things stay the same, then by definition, no changes actually occurred. The core to successful change, surely, is to move forward in the spirit of advancement and continuous improvement while preserving, reinforcing, and building on all the good things in the present. And that's my central theme for 2023, because 2023 was certainly a year of enormous change at your museum, but positive, reinforcing change that capitalizes on our past and paves the way for a bright and eventful future. Our financial performance exemplifies this in spades. We sign off 2023 with something like a 17% surplus on a $503,000 budget. Meantime, our rainy day building maintenance fund, as I call it, now sits at close to $75,000, as we were able to top it up very nicely in 2023. And in the meantime, we have something like $230,000 invested in reserves. And after a very eventful 2023, our budding legacy fund has now climbed to some $450,000 in cash and bequeathed gifts. And remember, we're trying to build that legacy fund to $2.5 million by the end of December 2025. All this happening at a time when many charities and not-for-profits are challenged to the extreme to even balance the books. That's change done the right way. We moved our financial yardsticks upward while maintaining and building on the management and fund development processes that have proved so successful in the past. Day-to-day bookkeeping and payment revenue processing is a fundamental spoke in the wheel of financial integrity. And here too, change was the name of the game in 2023. Our longtime serving, and I'm afraid to say, some would say suffering, incomparable Ruth Reith retired from her bookkeeping role in 2023, completing decades of tireless, commendable, and altogether wonderful support for the museum. You know, some of you have heard me refer to Alan and Ruth Reith as the human business cards for our museum, as they commandeered our steam engine at events throughout the county. The steam engine was a tangible business card, but they were the human exemplifications of what volunteering at your museum is all about. In 2023, our board dedicated, in fact, one of our lovely outdoor benches to the Reiths to commemorate forever their years of passionate volunteer service to the museum cause. Alan, Ruth, we thank you so much for your years of love and dedication to our perfect little museum. And we wish you the very best of health and happiness in the years ahead. And meantime, the bookkeeping function, you know, recruiting bookkeepers is a real challenge these days, and we're thrilled to welcome Cindy Clay to the team. Cindy's bookkeeping credentials and professional expertise will ensure that the museum's well-earned financial integrity will be preserved well into the future. Again, positive change done right. But clearly, and many of you were holding your breath, I'm sure, I've saved the most striking and profound example of change for the last. After 10 plus years of exemplary service and executive leadership, our general manager, John Kastner, ultimately saw the light and rode his retirement horse off into the proverbial sunset. Something like John Wayne, but not quite, actually. John was rightfully celebrated and feted profusely in his final weeks. After a sterling track record of surplus budget years, significant physical plant advancements, including construction of both indoor and outdoor theaters, and generally elevating the museum brand and community footprint in profound ways. John, on behalf of the board of directors, our staff and volunteer base, and our many members, once again, thank you so much for a great job, splendidly done. But as I underscored earlier, change intelligently affected produces opportunity. Accordingly, the board was quick off the mark in commencing a general manager recruitment process in mid-summer of 2023, chaired by myself and joined by the excellent board team of Leanne Perot, Mike Valiquette, Katie DeBlock-Bersma, and as well as Tourism Stratford, Zach Gribble. We undertook an extensive cross-Canada search for the right leader. And as most of you, if not all of you, know by now, Kelly McIntosh emerged as our unanimous choice to lead the museum staff team into the future. As was the case with John, Kelly's solid business acumen and experience, coupled with social media smarts and pronounced communication skills, stand the museum in good stead, both now and for many years to come. Additionally, Kelly's significant theater expertise and background will add an exciting and rather invigorating dimension to museum storytelling, because as we all know, storytelling is at the heart of the museum mission. Again, Kelly, welcome to the team. You're off to a fast, and I know it's a very fast and promising start. We look forward to working with you to ensure the museum's long-established and hard-earned track record of progressive accomplishments remains intact. So you see what I mean? Smart change management builds on the past while capitalizing on opportunities. So now it's just a matter of go, Kelly, go. In closing, I extend a particular thank you to Cynthia Carlson, who departs our board at this AGM after 6 years of excellent service. Cynthia's contributions to special events planning and execution, including our signature Innkeeper's Dinner, have been significant and absolutely invaluable. And in the same spirit, I presumptively welcome Shelley Stevenson as an incoming board member in anticipation of her election this evening. I've no doubt that Shelley's Stratford Festival connectivity, coupled with her governance, human resources, and administrative experience, will serve the museum and its board very well. And in my final sign-off as board chair, I welcome Katie DeBlock-Bersma into the chair role tonight for a 2-year term. I know I'm leaving the board leadership in excellent hands. It has been my honor and distinct privilege to chair the board for 5 of the past 11 years, two discrete stints during periods of remarkable change and progress on so many fronts. These have been hard-working, challenging years with multiple joys and not so few disappointments, but all of it shared with wonderful staff and volunteer colleagues fired by a desire for excellence and a love of, as we always say, your museum in your community. It's been quite a ride, to be honest with you. I'll remain on the board and executive committee for 1 more year, during which a primary undertaking will be the development of our next 5-year strategic plan. Like I said, progressive change sure does not imply that things stay the same. We all have to adapt and move with the times. And tonight, I want to assure you that the staff and volunteer team at your Stratford Perth Museum stand ready to do just that. I thank you very much for your time tonight. I wish you a great AGM. Have a good evening.
Thank you, David. That was wonderful.
This is the live David here,
It's alive, David. Thank you.
opposed to the guy in the fire engine.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you so much for your service. Be it resolved that President and Board Chair, the report as presented by David Stones be accepted by the membership. Can we have a motion to approve the President's report? I see Larry McCabe has his hand up. And a seconder? Janice Richardson. Any comments or questions? Can I get a vote? Carried. At this point, we will turn to the Finance Chair's report presented by Janice Richardson. Over to you, Janice.
Hello, everyone. 2023 is the first year since 2019 that the museum has been able to operate without any restrictions during the year. And I am pleased to report this museum had a successful year under these favorable conditions. We had projected a balanced budget and we ended up with a surplus of over 30,000. We originally budgeted for revenues of 503,000 and we ended the year with 603, which is a surplus of 100,000. The primary drivers for the surplus were additional funding received for the Kroller exhibit and the New Horizons grant that were not included in the original budget. We also received additional grants for hiring students and an intern that we were able to take advantage of during the year. Our self-generated revenues exceeded our budget by over 19,000. Particularly the revenues from admissions and our educational programs generated over 17,000 more than planned. The remaining surplus came from receiving more interest on our savings accounts as a result of increasing interest rates. The results for memberships and donations was once again very positive. We ended up receiving $3,000 more than expected. We were not able to attract any educational sponsorships this year, and our exhibit sponsorships were also lower than planned by about $4,000. However, as I just mentioned, we did receive additional funding to create the Kroller exhibit and the Seniors Digital Veteran Banner Project, so we did not have many other opportunities to attract additional sponsorships. With the construction of the backstage in 2021, we have been able to expand our fundraising and special events to include performances. The Wingfield and Rod Beatty events were very well received and allowed us to meet our goal for special events. The Innkeepers Dinner and Auction exceeded our expectations, bringing in 24,000 more than planned for that event. And we again took part in the car rally, which contributed to our successful year. Looking at our expenses, we ended up spending 69,000 more than we budgeted. Our salaries came in over budget by 9,000. However, I had also just mentioned that we received additional funding for our students and an intern, which allowed us to hire them for an extended period. Therefore, yes, our costs increased, but so did our revenues. Building operational costs are mostly set costs, and there are only minor variances in most of those expenses. Believe it or not, our biggest savings was in insurance, coming in almost 2,000 less than planned. Building maintenance had some unforeseen expenses, such as repairs to a generator and some track lighting bulb replacements. And lastly, we had budgeted 7,700 to contribute to the capital account. And due to the successful year that we had, we ended up approving 11,000 to keep up with our capital asset plan. Museum operation expenses were over budget by almost 19,000. Our auditing costs were a lot more than they had been in the past, and this was an unexpected increase. I mentioned earlier there was an increase in educational revenues, and this also meant we incurred some higher educational costs. The net result of the education, the revenues minus the expenses, was pretty much on par with what we had budgeted. The Culture Cabs program that had started in 2022, it finished in 2023, so there were some additional expenses incurred for that program before it finished at the beginning of the year. And lastly, we had projected spending an additional $13,000 in professional fees to assist with our 18-month campaign on the endowment fund. And it turned out we didn't require those services. So that actually resulted in a large savings in this category. Our exhibit expenses came in over budget by about $36,000, primarily for costs relating to the Kroller exhibit and the Seniors Digital's Veterans Banner project, both of which we received additional grants to cover those costs. So the revenues offset our expenses for those two exhibits. So again, our increase in expenses were offset by an increase in revenues. Looking forward to 2024, we again have presented a balanced budget with revenues and expenses of $504,000. Our grants to the City of Stratford and the County of Perth are indexed every year, so those grants reflect those the approved increases for both of those organizations. With COVID closures now behind us, we anticipate maintaining the same level of self-generated revenues, memberships, donations as we have in the past. Most of our expenses are recurring expenses, and we're not expecting to change much year over year except for inflationary increases. And finally, there is an $11,000 planned contribution to the capital asset contingency fund based on the capital asset plan that was prepared a few years ago. That's it.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you. So be it resolved that the Finance Chair report as presented by Janice Richardson be accepted by the membership. Can we have a motion to approve the Finance Chair's report? David Stones, thank you. A seconder? Larry? Thank you, Larry. Any discussions or questions? Okay, can we get a vote? Carried. Thank you. And I'd like to make reference to the annual auditor's report, which, with many other reports, were distributed either in PDF or you were sent a link. Tina Grinestage headed up the auditing team at FAM & Co. And before I welcome you, Tina, I just want to thank you so much. You know, you like myself and a few others are new on the field here, and you were extraordinary and detailed, and as painful as it was, I think it's really helped prepare me. So thank you very much. And now I turn it over to you, Tina.
Perfect. Thanks, Kelly. I'd also just like to say thanks to everyone that I worked with. The audit went smoothly this year, considering it was the first year. So thanks a lot for responding in timely manners, because it is a pretty quick turnaround. And Cindy did a great job too, like the bookkeeper, with providing me with anything that I needed. So we are pleased to present for your approval the museum's audited financial statement for the fiscal year that ended December 31st, 2023. Our opinion remains consistent with prior years. Prior year was issued by BDO, new by FAM & Co. this year, and we direct you to our independent auditor's report contained in the financial statements for the relevant details. Our opinion is qualified, as is common with not-for-profit and charitable organizations, and the reasons for this qualification are outlined in our report. Our report also outlines the responsibilities of management, those charged with governance, and the auditor in relation to the presented financial statements. There were several financial highlights during the year I would like to bring to your attention. Pandemic-related subsidies ceased during the year. 40,000 of the 60,000 originally received for the SEBA loan was paid off, and the 20,000 was forgiven by the government. When you look at your statement of operations, in last year there were 60,000 received from the tourism relief grant. Therefore, revenues decreased on the statement of operations under the gift and other revenue line. However, increased revenues from the innkeeper's dinner, concert sales, admissions, and educational programs of around 55,000 offset this lost revenue stream. Donations and bequests increased during the year due to approximately 28,000 raised for the Kroller Chair project, and the offsetting expenses included in the exhibits line on the statement of operations. This is considered an artifact asset of the association, as can be seen by the increase in the artifacts line on the balance sheet. Grant funds received for capital projects are amortized over the useful life of the asset. This can be seen as revenue on the amortization on the revenue schedule as amortization of deferred capital contribution line. A $150,000 one-turn GIC was purchased and moved from the cash line on the balance sheet to the short-term investments. Overall, plus and minus non-cash transactions, the association earned approximately $160,000 in profit, of which $75,000 was utilized to pay off debt, which included the $40,000 SEBA loan repayment, and $53,000 to purchase capital assets, leaving approximately $31,000 of the association's operating profit retained as cash. Like I said earlier, thank you again for the staff and management of the Stratford Perth Museum for their cooperation during our audit and availability to discuss any questions that arose during the course of the audit. You guys all got or whoever got a copy of the statement, it was issued as draft. So upon approval at this meeting, we'll have the finalized statements in your hands. I guess that's all for me. I'll probably sign off after this, as I got lots of other tax work to do for the event. But anyways, thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with you again.
Thanks so much, Tina. Great work. Be it resolved that the audited financial statements for the Stratford Perth Museum Association for the fiscal year 2023 be accepted by the membership. Can I get a motion to approve the auditor's report? I see Janice Richardson's hand up. Can I get a seconder? I see Katie DeBlock-Boersma's hand up. Any discussions or questions?
I just want to say we done good. That's a good summary. We did very well, and hats off to the whole staff team, to the volunteer team, to John to John McIntosh, but I was going to say John Kastner, who was our general manager for the bulk of 2023. We did very, very well again, and I think that's 13 years in a row that we've run a surplus. So as I said in my little speech, you know, these are pretty tough times for not-for-profits around town. So I think as a team, we can be especially proud of our achievement in 2023, and let's do it again in 2024.
Thanks, David. Can I get a vote?
All in favor?
All in favor? Great. Carried. Wonderful. Thank you. The auditor's report is now approved. Documents I'll get from Tina, and they will be available on our website, hopefully by tomorrow, as well as the AGM report will be on our website. However, if you would like me to email you a document, please reach out to me and I'll be able to send both of those as soon as they're ready to you. Okay, next, the appointment of auditors for 2024. We put forth a motion to approve Pham and Company as auditors for 2024. Be it resolved that Pham and Co. Professional Corporation be appointed the official external auditor for the Stratford Perth Museum Association for the fiscal year 2024. Can I get a motion to approve? Doug, I see Doug Kellum's hand up. And a seconder, sorry, I know someone had their hand up. John McIntosh. Any discussions or questions? Okay, and can I get a vote on that? Carried. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Moving right along to amendments to the Constitution, item number 6 on the agenda. Oh, I see Mike's hand up. Mike Valaquette's hand up. Not sure why. Okay, I
was just slow in taking it down. Sorry.
Oh,
I was taking notes. I am the secretary.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, so heading to number 6, amendments to the Constitution. There are none submitted and none from the board. So I believe that means we now move to item number 7, which are the
Yeah, if
general.
I could just comment, if I could, on that, Kelly. We did have a good discussion about this at executive committee and also at the board. I just did want to emphasize that we did look even at a couple of possibilities, but I think we're all in agreement that there is no need for any constitutional change at this stage. But I did want to assure the membership that we did scrutinize it and don't feel we have any major gaps that we need to heal at this point.
Okay, great. Thanks, David. So moving along to the past general manager's report, which was pre-recorded by John Kastner, and it will be followed directly by the present general manager's report, my report, which has also been pre-recorded. So Mac, cueing you for those reports.
Good evening. My name's John Castor. I'm the fairly recently retired general manager of the Stratford Perth Museum, and I've been asked to give a report for the annual general meeting of the Stratford Perth Museum Association. 2023 was another significant year for the museum. If for no other reason, it was the first time since 2019 that the museum was open for all 12 months. In 2020, 2021, and 2022, the museum saw mandated closures because of the pandemic, which at the time was obviously of great concern. So 2023 was a real relief that it signaled the end of those closures and really was a chance for us to get back to business. 2023 was also significant because it saw the end of the Anne Frank House exhibit, which was at the museum from 2019 up until January of 2023. That was an extended stay for sure, but as stated, that was extended largely because of the COVID-related closures. Previously, the Anne Frank House exhibit was at the museum in 2016, which was incredibly popular and really signaled the museum's foray into international exhibits and exhibits of much broader reach. 2023 also saw the museum take greater advantage of our 7 acres of terrific property. An agreement was reached with Here for Now Community Theater, and that's over 100 performances take place on the museum property. It also led to the naming rights for the southeast corner of the property due to high construction, and that area became known as the Hideaway. In other areas on the property, the Players Backstage continues to be a fantastic asset for the museum. And we saw Stratford Summer Music use the property. We saw Springworks. We had community events such as Joy Fest and Rock the Muse. From a fiscal and fundraising standpoint, the outside worked really well for us as well. We saw 3 more episodes of Wingfield Farm series take place, all of which were sold out. And the museum ventured into classic rock somewhat with tribute concerts for Gordon Lightfoot and the Tragically of also which were great for the museum from a community and attendance standpoint, but also financially. For those who have visited the museum, also outside, you will notice that there's a giant red chair on the property. This was an initiative that was spearheaded by board member Deanna Horton, and that giant red chair augments our Crayler exhibit. It's a great photo opportunity for people, and it's a very fitting tribute to the Crayler exhibit, which was one of our cornerstone exhibits in 2023 and moving forward. The museum continued to do a great job with community outreach. For those who ventured downtown Stratford in late October and through November, you will notice over 50 Remembrance Day banners that honor local veterans for their service to this country and beyond. That initiative took a bit of a hit in 2022 because of licensing issues with the city of Stratford, but it was back in full strength in 2023 with over 50 banners going up around downtown. The Agricultural Wall of Fame named new honorees in 2023 and currently is looking for nominees to be honored in 2024. The Stratford Museum Board needs to be credited for taking on a bench recognition program in 2023 as well. And that sees the museum recognize internally someone who's made great contributions to the museum and with a bench, a plaque on a bench on our trail system. And also it reaches out to the community and invites applications or nominees from the community to recognize someone else who's made contributions to the community. It's a great initiative, and that was realized in 2023 and will be a great fixture in addition to the trail system moving forward. The Innkeeper's Dinner is an incredibly important part of the museum's operations for a number of reasons. Fiscally, for those who are going to see the financial statements later today, you're going to see how important the Innkeeper's Dinner is to the museum. In 2023, it was at the Arden Park for the second time. And for the 11th year in a row, the Innkeeper's Dinner realized record gross and net revenue. And it continues to be a very important part of the museum's operations, but it's really, I think, become a community event. We should be very proud of that. It is an event that people look forward to, and we bring in over 225 people there, and it's a fantastic event, but there are many fingerprints on that project, and that includes all the people who volunteer, the Arden Park Hotel itself, a great list of sponsors, and the dozens of people who come forward with auction items that are nothing short of fantastic. In addition to that, the event wouldn't be successful without those who raised their hands during this live auction and also put their names down multiple times during the silent auction, which turned that event into so successful. Finally, 2023 was significant for me. It signaled an end of a terrific tenure at the museum that began in 2013. I can say that my send-off at the museum was terrific. I was very grateful for the video that was created. I was grateful for the acknowledgement that took place at Innkeepers, and also at an event at the museum my last day. But I also want to take this opportunity to say thank you. I'm very appreciative of the send-off, but I'm also very appreciative of being allowed to work at the museum for 10 plus years. It was a fantastic second career. I want to thank the tens of thousands of patrons who came through the door during my tenure, the dozens of sponsors which helped the place out, our membership, and I work for a great number of boards and board chairs, and I want to say thank you very much for that. And finally, I'd like to wish Kelly McIntosh well. She's my successor. She loves the museum. She's very capable, and I left the museum with a great level of comfort that the place is in good hands. Thanks very much for allowing me to present at the Stratford Perth Museum Annual General Meeting. I've seen the financials. It's another positive meeting. The museum should be very proud of that as well. And kudos to the board. Kudos to David Stones, the board chair, for his leadership during the past year. Thanks very much. Good night.
Good evening. I'm Kelly McIntosh, the new general manager of the Stratford Perth Museum, and it is with great excitement that I deliver you my report. First of all, I want to let you know how grateful I am to be in this position. Thank you so much to the board volunteers, especially the selection committee, for having the confidence to install me in this position. I couldn't be happier. It's been a thrilling 3 months. It's so great to be back in the museum, surrounded by the fantastic community and the patrons and the members and the volunteers, and to be in and amongst the gorgeous history on the walls that we all love to celebrate and share, and as well on the historic campus. So thank you. So it was a voluminous transition. I did shadow John Kastner for 2 weeks. John was phenomenal, and he got me up to speed on many parts of the operations, including the plant itself, the finances, and the people. John was there for me 100%. I just really want to take a moment to thank John Kastner, who clearly cares so much about this museum and the community. Now, out of the gate, there were a couple of files open for me, the first being Rod Beatty's One Man, A Christmas Carol, which played in the Cooperators Indoor Performance Theater in December. Now, I understand this started out as a 3-night run of the show that was meant to be a fundraiser for the museum. However, it grew to 7 shows, all of them sold out. over 500 people came through the building. It was just a really wonderful way to start things out here. And we did raise, this is Rod and his brother's choice, a great choice given the content of A Christmas Carol. We raised $5,000 for the United Way Perth Huron's Urgent Needs Fund, as well as for the museum. So that was a fantastic way to get things going. The next thing on the docket was the annual Holiday Ask campaign. John and I worked on that together and sent out a letter, and it was met very well. We raised over $12,000, this very important annual fundraiser. And it was also an opportunity for me to really bring what I can to the museum in expanding the communications database. So I'm happy to report that our MailChimp, which is our email, it's our email platform, has now up to almost 2,000 people receive our emails. I was delighted to see the January newsletter, 1,000 people open that email. So that's a significant step forward. Now, another file that was open was the application through the Canadian Cultural Spaces Fund to renovate a space that we rent in Rostock, where there are beautiful heritage farming implements that are artifacts that we steward. Unfortunately, we were not successful for one reason or another with this grant ask, but we are not giving up. And a committee is hard at work. There are plans afoot to raise the funds for this renovation for what will hopefully be a satellite museum to the Stratford Perth Museum. I also launched the Agricultural Wall of Fame. I am happy to say that there are 5 nominations. There's still time if you want to nominate anybody. There nominations will be open to the end of February. And also, I guess, part of the Holiday Ask was helping roll out a new simplified membership matrix that was created by a committee on the board of directors. And part of that initiative was to invite all donors to have complimentary one-year memberships to the museum, which is a really smart idea. And I'm thrilled to say that on Valentine's Day, over 20 households received a brand new membership card, which looks like this, and a Valentine signed by the entire staff of the Stratford Perth Museum. So that was really fun. And I think what's going to be fun as well moving forward is to be part of the strategic planning of the next era at the Stratford Perth Museum. What an incredible job you have all done. Where the museum is now is in a remarkable place, and I am extremely lucky to be part of that planning. So I just want to once again express my gratitude, and I hope you enjoyed my report, and I will see you at the museum. Okay. Thank you, John and Kelly. Be it resolved that the past general manager's report, as presented by the fantastic John Kastner, be accepted by the membership. Can I get a motion to approve the past general manager's report? I see Larry McCabe's hand up. Thank you, Larry. And a seconder, David Stones. Thank you so much. Any comments or discussion?
I just wanted to ask a question. Is that quote, the fantastic John Kastner, is that part of the motion? Because you made it part of the motion. But I don't think you intended it to be part of the motion, but he is fantastic. Yes, I'm not disputing that.
We're going to edit that out.
Yeah.
I'm at my back all the time. Thank you. Okay, so any more discussion or questions? Okay, can we get a vote? Okay, I say that's carried. Thank you so much. Now we're going to do the same thing with the present general manager's report. So be it resolved that the general manager's report as presented by Kelly McIntosh be accepted by the membership. Can I get a motion to approve the present general manager's report? Okay, Mike Valakat, I see your hand up. Thank you. And a seconder, Janice Richardson. Any comments or discussion? Holding my breath. No? Okay. Can I get a vote? Vote on that? Wonderful, carried. Okay, moving on to item 8, the committee reports. So at this point in the agenda, we would like to refer to these committee reports. They are all contained in the annual report, which was distributed. Hopefully you've had a chance to read these reports. They're great. And included is the exhibits report, the collections report, the education and public programs report, the volunteer report. Thank you, Margaret Jack. And John Kastner's grants report. Are there any questions around those reports? Okay. Be it resolved that the remaining committee and program reports as recorded and presented in the annual report be accepted by the membership. So what I'm looking for now is one omnibus motion looking to approve those reports that appear in the annual report. Can I get a motion? Leanne Perot, thank you. A seconder? Katie DeBlock-Boersma, thank you. Any comments or discussion? Wonderful. Can we vote on that? Carried. Great. Thanks so much. So at this point, I'm going to hand things over to President and Board Chair David Stones, who headed up our nominating committee. So David, over to you for the nominations report.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Yes, the executive committee of the board serves as the nominating committee for the organization. So we do double service in that regard. Cindy Carlson is the only departing member of the board, having completed 2 eventful 3-year terms. I did mention that in my little recorded speech that Cindy's years of service as a lead volunteer and member of the board are greatly appreciated, and her contributions to special events, health and safety, and the innkeeper's dinner are especially appreciated. So that creates only 1 vacancy. We are allowed up to 15 members of the board, but we like to keep it at 12 if we can. And the nominating committee, having reviewed a number of possible candidates, is putting forward Shelley Stevenson as a new member of the board, and is included in the motion that I shall be presenting this evening. Shelley's biography is included in the annual report. Hopefully you've all had a chance to read it. But Shelley's connectivity to the festival and her experience in HR and general administration is thought to be a wonderful fit for our board, and we're all looking forward to welcoming her into the team. Additionally, 4 current members of the board have completed their first 3-year term, and therefore are up for election for their second 3-year term. And those 4 individuals are Brent Shackleton, Deanna Horton, Kata DeBlock-Boersma, and Mike Delaquette. So the motion which I am presenting to the membership this evening is be it resolved that Shelley Stevenson be elected to the board of directors for her first 3-year term, and that Katie DeBlock-Boersma, Mike Delaquette, Deanna Horton, and Brent Shackleton be elected to the board of directors for their second 3-year term. I move that motion. Is there a seconder?
Larry McCabe.
Larry McCabe. You can call for the vote, Kelly, or is there any discussion around the motion? Okay, seeing none, Kelly, if you want to call for the vote.
Can I get a vote to approve the motion? Great, carried. The slate is approved and the board is in place for the 2024 fiscal year. At this point, I would like to open the floor for other business. Thoughts, comments on the meeting, any discussion? Okay,
So
Yes.
if I may, through the chair, just on behalf of the city, certainly I want to extend my congratulations to the Stratford Perth Museum on another amazing year. As all the information shared with us tonight confirmed, we certainly have a long history with the museum, and a big part of that history is John Kastner, and I want to thank him for his work in this partnership as well over the last 10 years. Congratulations, John, for your work, and I know you're not going far, and you'll continue to serve the community in another capacity, but continue to serve. I wish to thank the staff and the volunteers at the museum. You're amazing people. When you come through the door, you're well invited with a big smile and a real warm greeting. Certainly like to welcome Kelly to the new role. Wish her well as she moves forward in this new role. And certainly you know that the city of Stratford is always there if you have a question or a concern. So congratulations on a great 2023 year, and we look forward to and wish you all the best to 2024.
Thank you, Mayor Ritzma. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to bring anything up? Okay. Well, at the end of this discussion, I would really love to thank Mac for a great job hosting the meeting tonight, and Ballinran Entertainment do a fantastic job. I thank everyone for attending and also for coming out to the museum. So be it resolved that the 2024 annual general meeting of the Stratford Perth Museum Association be terminated. Can I get a motion to terminate the meeting? I see Leanne Perot's hand up. Can I get a seconder? Oh, I don't think I need a seconder, actually. Oh, we have one anyway. Katie DeBlock-Boersma. And any comments or concerns from anyone? Okay, and a vote? Fantastic, carried. The meeting is terminated. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night.